Hi guys, we're back here with SV Talks. This is the second episode of our series on school safety and shootings. But today I'm here with Liliana and I'm Jerome. And we're going to be talking about school safety measures and drills that are currently in our system.
Our current drills that we have are fire drills, tornado drills, and the Sequoia evacuation. Those are our main important, and also our intruder drills. The fire drill is obviously we have to go outside, usually in a single file line. Tornado drills, we have to be inside in a secure place without windows. And our Sequoia evacuation is set in place for people that are in 10-mile radius to the Sequoia nuclear power plant. And our intruder drills are set in place annually. And in addition to that, teachers and staff undergo training. Before the pandemic hit, the county sheriff's office had active shooter drills set in place for administrators. And that's it.
So, in terms of armed assailant drills, and this is kind of just a widespread, I guess, exercise base that a lot of students adopt and implement. So some procedures that happen are just the introduction. I mean, the whole topic on intruder drills is introduced at the early stages of school.
I think it was introduced in elementary school.
Right.
And that was a while ago since we've had those intruder drills set in place.
Yeah.
Usually they weren't there before.
And it's mostly just a brief overview of what would happen during a crisis or an event, what type of protocol will take place, what are the different events, just so all the students don't get startled in case of something, or in case of a drill. I know a school, or my middle school that I went to, we had announced drills. We knew that they were going to happen, but we also had unannounced drills that kind of took us at surprise, just so we would have that understanding of what to do, where to go, what CNC or house classroom would be in.
And in place for the intruder drills, now they don't really happen as much, but usually like every year would happen, especially in elementary school, where we would like huddle behind like the desk, like all the lights would be off, and like when I was little I kind of didn't understand it and what it meant, but now that I'm older and everything that's happened, I understand like why we have those set in place.
And I know, at least in my experience, it has not been the case where emergency responders have been involved. I mean, of course, like SROs, the resource officers at the school, are involved in the checking of classrooms throughout the entire procedure, but widespread, a lot of schools actually incorporate like EMT officers, fire departments, police officers in that procedure so that students are more aware of what actually happens. So that's something that has been implemented in other schools. It's something that I don't see in many of our schools. A lot of students aren't they're not being, I guess, introduced to that side of drills. And as they're more prevalent now, in the recent shootings, there's been a lot of like focus on it. It's definitely the drill that has been taken more seriously over the years. Because I mean, fire drills, they happen from time to time. Even like actual like procedures happen. I mean, like a cafeteria, like a fire gets caused in the cafeteria or whatnot, and students have to evacuate. But intruder drills are a lot more serious, and I think it's a feeling or a notion that's felt by a lot of students, a lot of teachers, parents, just because the safety concern is so much higher than other occurrences that can happen during a school day. So I heard a recent implementation is that Hamilton County is requiring classrooms to be locked throughout the day.
That was set in place this semester.
And I can see how that would increase the security. Also just the measures of entry and exit of students. But I can also see a lot of ways that could be or cause an interruption in classrooms and in the environment that students are meant to learn in and I guess cultivate themselves and grow as people. But it's been tainted by the fear of intruders and the fear of something occurring that would put students in danger. And it's kind of sad that we even have to talk about all these different measures. Like, these are supposed to be schools, these aren't supposed to be high security places, government buildings.
And it's more prevalent now in these years that a lot of people are in fear of what will happen in schools. Like, I know for sure that I am in fear of my peers' safety and everyone else around me because of you never know what might happen with like intruder drills and everything. And like now that we have the intruder drills, yeah, it's good, but you never know what will happen.
So I think that the classroom lock-ins, it's honestly, it adds another layer of security, but it also is in such close proximity to students. I mean, of course, like entry doors, front doors of schools, students have to buzz in, intercom systems. Those measures have been put into place, and students are already kind of used to that just because that's more external. But internally, I mean, even just simply as going to the bathroom and you have to wait in the hallway for a teacher to notice you outside and to let you into the classroom.
It's very inconvenient for both the teachers and the students.
But, and I can see how that caused interruption. Not only that students learning, but other students and overall affect the dynamic of the environment inside of the classroom, inside of the school. It can definitely take a toll on just the students' mental awareness of what's going on. And in case of an emergency or an intruder actually being there, what would happen to the students that are out in the
I
hallways?
feel like the students are not like. I feel like the locking the doors during class is like one. It's not that safe compared to like if an intruder would have come into school. I feel like the first thing they would do would honestly go inside the bathrooms because one, students that are in the bathroom won't be able to go back in the classroom
Right.
because of the locked doors, and that's an easy place for intruders to go to. So
Right.
that
It's more accessible because everybody has access to the bathrooms.
and they're not locked.
Right. They're not locked. So it kind of re-centers the focus of where an intruder might go in case of an event.
And the
happening.
student might be, the intruder might be the student, so they would know the doors are locked
Right.
and the bathrooms are accessible.
So it just creates, it shifts the focus of the problem. So to say.
Another topic we can discuss about is the hardened entrances. Those are now accessed in our schools. Those are now implemented in our schools. And Hamilton County has spent over about $5 million for the past 5 years re-engineering our entrances. Those are now called the hardened entrances, and they have at least 2 layers of entry, both of them requiring a badge or access from the office.
And that's something that's at the front of the school,
Yes.
as we're talking about. Yeah.
My school specifically has 2 of them. We used to have the first one as the actual hardened entrance, but now we switched to that, to the one we have now. And those, you need your ID to go into. Like, even to sign, if you don't have the badge, you need an ID, or to buzz in. And the office, like when you use the ID, it puts you in the visitor management system so they know when you're in or not. And like they can check when you leave or not, cameras and everything. Like an intruder, it would be difficult for them to come in basically through the hardened entrances.
So what would happen in the case of a student like leaving their ID at home or forgetting it, just even losing it?
Like usually it would just be buzzed in, and like in case if you're like your tardy example, like you were talking about a minute ago, if you're tardy, you buzz in and you give out the name to the office, and they will know if you're a student or not.
Because it's in the record already.
Because it's in the record, but if you're not, if you're not a student, like you're an adult or another person entirely, and you go inside, you will have to have your ID. They will turn you away if you didn't. And you, if you came to pick up a student, you would either have to have your ID or in the system, or the primary guardian
Of the
would
student.
have to let you like take the student.
So do you feel like with the consideration of that, the hardened lock-ins already in place, do you feel like classroom lock-ins are even necessary?
I don't feel like they're necessary that much. If it was a student, I feel like the hardened entrances, a lot of people would notice, like if something was there. I know some schools even have metal detectors and are set in place there, and those obviously like set off if there's anything there. Like some schools even have like clear backpacks. Those are set in place there too, and the hardened entrances are just another measure of safety that I don't feel like we would need the locked doors in our classrooms. Like we talked about before, it would be very inconvenient for both the teachers and the students.
I guess another measure of safety that we haven't yet talked about is, or we mentioned it, school resource officers, like SROs. Hamilton County has already assigned at least one officer, I believe, to each school. So there's already a person from the Hamilton County Police Department that is stationed at each school to not only kind of enforce the law at the schools, but to serve as informants of safety and procedures that students would need to know.
And I feel like that would make students a lot safer there. I know for sure that I feel safer now that there's SR, like,
Resource officers,
officers. Now that they're there, because one, like, easily, like, they get pissed off. Now that they're armed too, so I don't feel like teachers would necessarily have to have any weapons too. Because now that we have the resource officers, those are there for us.
And like I said, they're not only there just to enforce the law, but they're there to educate students on the law and about safety. These people are serving as advisors and role models to students. So on top of the training that's already being implemented at early stages of school and the awareness that is now being, I guess, grown, it's gradually become more apparent as part of the recent school shootings. I feel like the intention is there, and there are adequate measures for students now in our county. I just think, but of course, more procedures is always going to help reassure parents, teachers, students. But I feel like our current system does well in preparing students in case of an event to take place in a school.
Thank you so much for watching part 2. If you want to watch the rest of the parts, they're on YouTube and Spotify. Also check out our Instagram and our TikTok, which is Unified HC.